What is up, guys? Welcome to Truth and Transparency Saturday night special here. Tonight's jury selection. Welcome. Welcome to jury selection. So if you want to be a juror, you got to make it through voir dire. I already have a foreman. Hi, Mary P. Are you there? You're live with us.
I am. I didn't know you were putting me on. Hi.
Hi. Well, I just wanted to say, here you go. Hi. Mary P, you better be running a tight ship over there.
Oh, I didn't know I was going to be in charge. That's right.
It's for communication purposes. So that way you could be the point of contact for the jurors, and they don't have to contact, my name if I'm the judge. The judge in this case is it Susie? It's Susie Jansen. So Judge Jensen. Not sure if she goes, how she pronounces that, but but Mary P, yes, Blue Wrench, Mary P. You're gonna be making sure that these jurors keep in line. So this is a little bit different though, guys, from a criminal case. So those of you guys that are here for jury selection, let me pin that link. I've had a lot of people put their resumes in to be a juror in this case. We're treating this just like any other trial. So Monday morning, we'll start opening statements. Opening statements is 30 to 45 minutes per side, beginning at 10. Then we'll have a little bit of a lunch break, and then Jennifer Drake's side will go first and be calling her first witness. So I had people do the right thing, and they emailed to be a volunteer juror. So I think I had like 7 or 8 people. So it's different though than a criminal case, guys. It's in Idaho, so I double checked the rules in Idaho. For the civil cases, you need 75% of the jury. That's whatever 75% is the unanimous. So if you side with Jennifer Drake should be being awarded, damages because you believe that Dan Moore is responsible for the death of Brian Drake. And it goes based on the preponderance of the evidence. So what that is that it's that level of preponderance of the evidence is both sides are going to put on evidence in this case that the jury is going to see. And based on the weight that you as jurors apply to the different evidence that you see, and you have to just be at a burden for the plaintiff, has to be a burden of it is probably likely that it happened than it didn't happen. So you just got to tip that scale. So it's about that, Dr. Moore probably did it. So as far as that preponderance of the evidence, that's what the burden is for Jennifer Drake. She is the plaintiff with the wrongful death. And then the Moores are able to put their case on, which is they countersued in this situation. So they then countersued and sued Jennifer for defamation. What else? There was 3 things. The only thing that's on the table, I believe, is that she's responsible for economic losses. So hold on one second. Let me, all right. Let me just I want to repin this. So Mary P, we're going to treat it like Boston. We pick our foreman. The judge just picks it, so I went ahead and picked her. All right, there's that. Now, there's some qualifying questions for our voir dire tonight. And if you cannot obviously be watching the trial, that's going to be a problem. But the first thing is do you have any health matters that would be harmed by service on this jury? So service on this jury. Hi, Colleen, I got your email, so you are in the running for this. So do you have a health matter that would be harmed by service on this jury or would interfere with your ability to be here every day and serve as a juror? We kick off on Monday, and it's 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So if you got a problem with that, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, let me know. My courthouse on Mondays and Tuesdays, we stay late, so we go to about 3:30. You hear that? So that's number one. Mondays 10, yeah. Lunch, yeah. Lunch, we only get 45 minutes around here. Yeah, Rebecca, great question. That's going to be great. It's going to be interesting how the jurors respond to that too. Rebecca says, can you explain real fast how this is possible for a civil lawsuit when he hadn't even been found criminally guilty? Yeah, absolutely. We will be talking about that. Oh, let's see. Now, do you take any medications that would prevent you, that would make it difficult to concentrate or otherwise be attentive during the proceedings or deliberations? So how about any economic hardships for any of you guys out there? Do you have to be at work and you can't be here if you got your summons? Now, has anybody served as a juror before? What type of case was it? Was it a civil case, criminal case? Hey, yo! We're picking a jury, so get in here. We want some good jurors. Has anybody heard of this case before? So are you able to set aside your biases? Have you heard about this case? Do you know anything about this case? And what have you read, seen, or heard besides this was very little was in the paper or on the news? So no meds, just love my coffee. Well, you have to ask Mary P if she's serving that up in the room. We are passing out Adderall if you need to stay focused.
Coffee is not provided. You can have your own continental breakfast, but you need to bring it yourself.
Okay. Are we going to be serving muffins? Okay.
Yep.
So just so you guys know, there are two types of challenges. So a challenge for cause and a peremptory challenge, which means I can, or whoever can just be like, yeah, no, we're going to use one of our, we don't care. They're out. So I'm curious to know how many of those we're going to have. I expect there to be a quick jury selection. Adderall 10 milligrams afternoon booster. We give those out at 1. All right. Let's see. You guys are allowed to keep notes while you guys are there at your little station, so you guys can keep notes. We're going to allow jury questions. So if you guys have a question after a witness testifies, you'd want to pass that on over to Mary, and she'll let me know. AKA put it in chat if you're a juror. Let's see. Okay. So let's test some of our jurors. Oh, jury questions. Yeah, we're going to let jury questions in. They have to be within the scope. All right. Has anybody had a family member been murdered in their household? Anybody close to their a family member that's been murdered? Just curious. Jury questions should be allowed in every state. There you go. So, Foreman, nobody's been murdered in your family, right?
Not in the last 100 years.
Okay. Have you had any bad run-ins with a doctor? Anybody,
Well, to be truthful,
God.
I've had a few.
Oh God. Have you ever sued your
Oh
doctor
God.
before? Have you ever sued
Um,
your doctor before?
I did no, not the doctor, but I was in a car accident, and
Okay.
the doctor had to give a statement about that, and I did. So there was something like that,
Okay.
but it was not the doctor.
Okay. And do you have any religious beliefs that would prevent you from being a fair and unbiased juror based on other religions? Would you be biased towards Christians?
Nope. As long as this is not a death penalty case, I am good with all of that stuff.
Okay. Well, yeah, nobody's going away to prison here. This is not
It's all
okay.
civil, right?
It's all civil.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay.
let's see here. And have you ever been or have you ever had an affair or somebody that was a recipient of affair? I guess you could say. Has anyone ever cheated on you? Do you have any
Nope, nope,
biases? Any domestic violence?
nope. Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. So I'm trying to just throw this all out here for what I foresee happening. I mean, maybe none of this would matter to somebody, but it would matter to me. Um, do we have to stream on StreamYard? I don't know what that means. No, you just watch here. I'm a Christian. Well, good. I think the two, both parties, I believe, are Christian backgrounds. So
Yep.
not even cheating
I
over
am
here. So no, we got no cheaters in here.
no cheating. At least not me. Can't speak for anyone else.
Yep, you're just joining us. We just got started, so you guys could be writing answers in chat if you were considered being a juror for the mock trial. So we want to go 6 jurors, 6 alternates. That way, in case people are bowing out, like I don't even know. If you can't make it,
Who knows? We're doing it by the book.
Yeah. If you can't make it, we're having roll call here and shit. We have to have our jurors present. Let's see. So yeah, we said cheating, affair, doctors. Have you ever seen anybody? I asked you if you sued a doctor. Have you ever been sued?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay. I'm going to read off the witness list as well as the 2 parties. If you have any knowledge of anybody that's involved in this case, speak up. So you got obviously the Drake side, you got the Moore side, but then we're looking at officers, Mike Van Leuven, Marty Ryan, Brian Scrimshire, Sally Aiken, Eldora Gatchell. Anybody?
Nope.
Nope. You guys are good. Oh man,
I don't think
anybody knows anybody here. All right. Do you know any of the? Are you standing around looking at yourself? Do you guys see anybody you know here? I'm just kidding. Oh, you just say you want to be one. You say you want to be one. Let's see what else. All right, so we're gonna test everybody's. Yeah, definitely hit that thumbs up. We're gonna test what people believe is the preponderance of the evidence versus like this is not a criminal case where the plaintiff is not going to have to show that Dr. Moore is guilty beyond any beyond the reasonable doubt. This is completely different in terms of that threshold there, that burden, which Jennifer Drake and her attorneys have to show with admissible evidence that will be put forward through witness statements, exhibits, testimony. The evidence will, when you're weighing, so here you have it, you're going to start off like everybody's right here, and then all the evidence, you start taking it in, and then you're going to start basically weighing the pieces of evidence that come in, and all Jennifer Drake has to do is to get 3/4 of the jury to say, so 75% of the jurors to say that Dan Moore is, it's probably more likely than not. So more likely than not that Dan Moore is responsible for the death of Brian Drake. So more likely than not. More likely than not. So if you want to be a juror. So we're going to test people out here. Okay. On what we think is more likely than not. So that is, I'm not free on Wednesday. I wish I was. Oh, Wednesday is just going to knock you out. Thanks to Elaine and Atlanta, I know all them folks. Oh, all these witnesses? Oh, snap. All right, so here we go. We'll start this way. Who is available to be a juror Monday through Friday this coming week? So if you can't do it, don't write in chat. Me, that way Mary P and I can get your guys' screen names down. I'm on unemployment, so I'm available. Thank you. All right. I want this to be a fair jury selection, so I want some pro plaintiff shit here. So let's see here. Probably more likely than not. We'll go with all right, probably more likely than not. Probably more likely than not. Here's a question for you. If I came home and I had 2 bags in my hands of bread, milk, eggs, ice cream, fruit snacks, cereal, would you say that it's probably more likely than not that I went to the store? I don't even, would you say that I would be beyond reasonable doubt? I would even think I went to the store. I could have stole though. All right. Likely. More likely, yes, that I went to the store. Okay, now, more likely or not that same items that I went to the store for my 10-year-old. Is it probably more likely than not that I went to the store with those same items for my 10-year-old? What gave it away? Those damn fruit snacks? 40-year-olds can't eat fruit snacks? Let's see. More. What do you guys think? I said cereal, bread, milk, fruit snacks. What else did I throw in there? Was it the fruit snacks gave it away? I eat fruit snacks, guys. Oh, I said ice cream. Let's see. Probably more likely than not, let's see, that my neighbor to my right is married with kids and 2 dogs. So husband, wife, 2 kids, and a dog. My neighbor to the left, single party animal. Okay. My vehicle had beer bottles, Fireball bottle, Solar Red cups, and a bra on it. size 36 double D. Probably likely that came from the neighbor on my left or the neighbor on my right. Just gotta throw some of those in there. Type A mom with the side hustle. No idea. No idea. Some damn kids, man. How old are the kids on the right? Right? It's a fair question. We'll say they're 10 and 12. We'll go at 10 and 12-year-olds. How about that? All right, now this is going to be a good one. Both neighbors highly suspicious. Now nothing's on my car. No bras, no Fireball, no beer cans, but instead my car has a dent in it. Neither car in either of my neighbors' driveways have any dents in them. Okay. And the dent has a black little line with the dent. What neighbor did it? Probably more likely than not, what neighbor? I would be like, I couldn't tell. Nope. I would be like, no, there's not enough information there. I would not know. I have no idea. A dent in my car. Neither neighbor's cars have dents. The blacksmith doesn't do much for me. Neither. They have no dents. And what color is their cars? Yeah. Not enough info. Good. Now we talking. The breasty one. That was funny. Yeah, there you go. Not enough info. Okay. So now we're going to make these a little harder here. Okay. Now in this case, you're going to hear from a bunch of different detectives or people in law enforcement. And so since this crime has occurred 4 years ago, how heavily are you going to rely on law enforcement's notes versus I'd rather hear the audio recording of the interview? Like, are the notes going to be good enough, or what somebody would testify to? Would it matter? Like, hey, law enforcement, they've probably over the past 4 years, they've probably pulled out the discovery and just went over everything. So anything that they would say, I would, going to side with them, because why would law enforcement lie, right? So what do we think? Law enforcement. How much weight are we giving to law enforcement? How much weight are we giving to a report? How much weight are we going to give? Would you rather hear the interview, portions of the interview? 43.6%. Shay, I always think law enforcement's involved. Well, okay. So going back to this need more information thing. So if there were 10 people around the crime, if there were 10 people around the crime, based on, hey, their phones were peeing off of the tower, and so we know that they're in the vicinity of the tower, then we have this camera footage, and we're able to say, oh, we see their car go by, they're using their cell phone, and it's in the vicinity in the time of a 1 hour window of when a crime could have been committed. Is that enough for you to say that somebody did it? That person's guilty? Do you need more? If you're on a cell tower using a cell phone and your car is seen on a camera, is it probably likely? Okay. Now, what if we narrowed it down to like, would you believe that somebody called 911, but their cell phone didn't show that they called 911? Would you believe that there's glitches, such as thing as glitches in the wiring of the worlds of cell phones and dispatch? That's big as fuck. Now, if you're from the prosecutor's or the plaintiff's standpoint, rather, so Jennifer's lawyer is saying, let's see how I want to word this. Okay. Everybody believe in our rights, like we're United States citizens. We all have the right. We have rights to bear arms. We have rights to remain silent. In this case, you're going to hear a confession to a murder. How much weight do you have in that? What's up? A convict's thoughts. A.R. Hayes, what's good? Again, you have a confession to law enforcement. Is it probably likely that they did it if they confessed to it? Kind of weight. So, confessional law enforcement. I'm going to need a lot more than a confession, Mary. Damn, girl. So if I said that I killed the purple dinosaur, but it's a red dinosaur, what do you guys think? I just messed up the color. If I said that I confessed to a crime and I tell you guys where I threw the murder weapon, where I hid the murder weapon, where I put it. If I take law enforcement to go, here, this is where I threw it. It's in this river right here. But you don't find, after 4 dives, the murder weapon. You don't find any ammo. And then the confession came after 8 or 9 times of the suspect asking for a lawyer, and after they took a bunch of medicine, like pain medicine and shit tonight, and they had a concussion. James still could be legit. Mary, oh shit, I'm out. All right, well, so then this is definitely going to be talked about. It's going to be talked about. Something like this, which is, okay, well, I want to know if my jury believes in the Innocence Project. Do you think the Innocence Project? Why do you think the Innocence Project is around? Do you believe that people can make false confessions? Have you ever heard of a false confession? There's not going to be any DNA at the scene. There's no DNA going to be here in this trial. There's no murder weapon. But you got a confession that was 29 minutes late, Lana. Have Lana on Swifty speed to catch up. Oh, shit. You should be caught up in no time. Sherry, you just changed my whole thought process. Let's see. Oh, yep. That's where I was. So the Innocence Project, is it probably likely that people were getting exonerated due to the Innocence Project that made false confessions at one point in time, and that DNA then exonerated them? So people that gave a confession all those years later, then they were exonerated by DNA. Sherry D, you are not that late. Okay, good, great. Let's see. What else would I want to know from my jurors? Okay. Oh, enough from my jurors. Would you give any weight to the fact that law enforcement from 2020 to present day, if they had all this evidence, even if after a confession got thrown out due to Miranda violation and one of the judge saying that he was coerced into saying it, would there be any weight there wondering, well, if there was all this other evidence, why didn't law enforcement just arrest him, not use the false confession or the confession, and go forward with criminal charges? Because if you have all this evidence against him, not too many people that are suspects just confess. I mean, you have trials without confessions. So would there be any weight to the fact that law enforcement has never recharged this man? Is there any relevance to the fact that law enforcement Yes. I think I'm biased already because I've heard the question's too long. I lost focus. The question is it relevant that law enforcement wouldn't have refiled or just went forward without the confession if there was all this, damning evidence against Dan Moore? Like, why aren't the police like, you just don't have everyday suspects just don't say, okay, yep, I did it. Sure. Here we go. Now we go off to trial. In fact, that's not usually what happens at all. And they need either it's circumstantial evidence or it's physical evidence. And they present that to, a jury. So for me, if I was a juror, it would definitely be relevant to me as to, I would wonder why wasn't he recharged? Or why didn't they just go forward? So Mary P says, it's interesting. That's for sure. I only know of this case because of Lana. I know. I wish more people did. So yeah, we're just getting into it here, guys. Just getting into it. Janet just got here. She said she missed the question, but she's going to answer the next one. You go, girl. You go. All right. So, okay. Again, remember the preponderance of the evidence is just that it's probably more likely than not that Dan Moore is responsible for the death of Brian Drake. What type of weight do you need motive? Like are you going to apply to motive in this case? So, do you need to know a motive as to why Dan Moore would have ever shot a bullet through a window with the blinds closed? How could anybody expect to kill somebody like that? First of all, I think that's wild, but would you need to hear motive? Does motive matter? Does it matter? Does it matter? I don't know. People kill other people every day. Who gives a shit? You're posing questions that really make me think. A lot of weight on motive. Motive, yes. Would help, but not necessarily need it. I appreciate a clear-cut motive. Okay. Remember now, so what the plaintiff is going to show is that they don't have to, the plaintiff's going to show that Dan Moore is ultimately responsible for Brian Drake not being here anymore. We're not here to show that it would be, murder or if it would be like a lesser, okay? But ultimately, Drake children, Jen, their family, they are without Brian due to the actions of Dan Moore, regardless if he meant to kill him or not. It resulted in the death. Being reckless to shoot a gun through a window to scare him, to get him to not be in Bonner's Ferry anymore and take his business elsewhere. So remember, it's not about, the plaintiff does not have to show that Dan Moore intended to kill Brian, but his actions resulted in Brian's death. So everybody understands that. At least I would want my jury to know that if I was the plaintiff. So, because Dan Moore had a duty of care to Brian due to the fact that your reckless behavior cannot result in somebody else's death. Okay. All right. So, now as the defendant here, Dan Moore, I'm his attorney, I'm going to ask you guys now, has anybody had a deal with a gas company before? Does anybody know of anybody in their family that's ever tried to commit suicide due to a natural gas leak, hoping to blow up a building? Is anybody good with science in this room? Just absolutely fucking ridiculous. So we're going to talk about this gas. Anybody have any issues with let's talk about this gas leak. Now, normally when there's a gas leak, we can all smell it, right? Raise your hand. You guys can smell a gas leak. You walk into a place and, oh my God, like one of your burners accidentally or like left, on, and fucking place fills up with gas. Your friends come over and they're like, oh my God, that gas. I'm like, what? So we would all say that, hey, we should be able to smell gas. Now, if you were to find out that Dr. Moore had his nose cauterized and he can't smell anything due to it being like he doesn't possess that sense of smell. He can't smell things. He can't even smell his own damn wife's perfume. She could just probably, wear turkey shit as her new fragrance, and he would not be able to smell it. So if you saw proof through a doctor that Dan Moore suffered from, he cannot smell, because the plaintiffs are going to tell you my client felt really, really bad that he shot a gun through a window and killed a man, but then he tried to off himself by having a gas leak at his business. So he must have gotten COVID. Actually, COVID just had hit 2020, but no, this happened when this was from before. That's funny. COVID was literally just happening when this case hit. So if you're thinking, wow, man, he should be able to smell, like who would just lay around in a bed, not realizing that, they got a headache because of the gas smell, but then come to find out, well, no wonder why they didn't know that it was a gas leak. He can't smell, and they were getting headaches at the office because of this gas leak, but nobody knew. So where's Lana's 5 volunteers? We're gathering them. We're asking questions right now. I'm putting everybody through a sick voir dire. Did I miss the volunteer part of the stream? No, you're in for the stream of the volunteers. I'm trying to get as many answers as I can before I start saying I want you. I need some pro plaintiff people over here. I'm trying to gauge you guys. Let's see my other nifty questions. Okay. All right, so I want to make sure that, all right, as the lawyer here of Jennifer Drake, the plaintiff lawyer here, I don't want you guys to use it against my client that these detectives and police officers, they fumbled this case, and Jennifer and her children should not be, because of their actions, in violating Miranda. That shouldn't, don't let Jennifer and her children, don't take that out on them because of those officers, and then them not choosing. Jennifer doesn't get to decide who gets prosecuted. Okay. So would you be able to put that aside and still go off of the fact that there is going to be evidence that shows a vehicle that we believe, because the police believe through their investigation, belongs to Dr. Moore, and it was circling Brian Drake's building right before he was shot. James, I anticipated plenty of room prayers by law enforcement. Lawyers aren't going to sway with words. Let's see the evidence. Well, they have to make sure that you're willing to see the evidence. And I can't just, hey, if these people are going to be like, well, I can't believe the cops would have charged him yet, you know? So therefore I'm out. You know, I got to be able to know that I can wiggle you. What was circling? Missed that. You're going to see a white truck circling Brian Drake's office right before the murder of Brian Drake. Can you repeat the question? You're going to hear from my client, Jennifer Drake. She's going to tell you about probably the worst minute or two of her life when she was on the phone with her husband when he was shot through that window. How much weight are you going to put on Jennifer Drake's statements that she would know the voice of her husband and know what he said to her before she then called 911 to render help for her husband? How much stock? People would say that that's hearsay. Well, there are exceptions to hearsay. How much stock are you going to put into hearsay? A judge is going to rule that it's admissible for Jennifer to talk about that because it meets the qualifications of one of the hearsay exception rules. I would believe the wife. I'm a perfect juror in that I know nothing of this case. I have an open mind to all evidence, and I can see liars like they have headlights on their heads. You gotta take some hearsay. Yep. Depends on what else she says. Okay. Now the defense's attorney says, okay, well, I'm going to believe somebody's words until they give me a reason not to believe them, right? We'll have Chickbait answer some questions. What's up, Chickbait?
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay.
Okay.
I like when you said hearsay.
Uh-huh.
That gravitated towards me a lot.
Oh, hearsay. Love it. What do you think about hearsay? So if a wife says she's on the phone with her husband and he shouts out, ow, 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 oh my God, I think I've been hit. I think somebody just shot me through the window. And then she hangs up the phone with her husband because he's no longer responsive. And then she calls police.
The part of it that's hearsay, unless it's recorded, is that she's quoting it as if it happened. Right? So,
yes. So they said it meets the utterance, like, so they let it in at the preliminary hearing.
Point, you know, she could have said, like, I called him and he said he was playing Pokemon.
Yeah, like, I mean, well, that's her thing is that they were on the phone for 9 minutes, and the last 15 seconds of that phone call is when I
just looked back at some of the, articles about this.
Oh, so you're one of those jurors checking out the media.
That's why I'm biased. I can't be on. I'm also not from the state.
You could be from wherever.
I can be?
Yeah, because we're doing a mock trial.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. I threw out some great ideas. You should scroll back and ask the audience.
Oh, I see some of when I'm on StreamYard, it messes with. I get half of the comments. Is this still jury selection?
I just saw it on. I was trying to chat on YouTube, but anyway, yeah, hearsay. I just wanted to make sure I'm clear on this. This is stuff that is viable as testimony or whatever the term is, right? Like you can say that this happened. You're testifying, right?
Well, the wife has to testify about it. in the trial.
But it doesn't make it.
It doesn't make it true.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, just because she said that happened, like, so what I'm getting at is how much stock you're going to put in that. Because my next follow-up question is, okay, well, how many people believe in timelines? So if the wife is calling to report this, right?
Yeah.
And we have eyewitness statements that are giving, as well as surveillance cameras that are giving a contradictory, it's a huge discrepancy to what the wife is saying. How much weight's going to be then put into that?
I think it goes back to how much of it is relevant, hearsay, or recorded, documented witnesses.
Well, I mean, does it seem like it's going to have some weight to it? Because it's not like she called and pranked the 911
No, I mean, like,
people, because he's dead. He was shot. There's a window that was broken. He's shot.
There's a lot of weight to it, but I want to see concrete evidence that someone was on the phone.
Oh yeah, so there's a call on Jennifer's cell phone, and there's a call on his cell phone.
That's what I mean. Like, as a juror,
and 7:26.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So the phone is on. Does that guarantee someone was talking?
Yeah. So then now see, that's what we're getting into, is the whole, like, okay, so you're willing to see if the defendant can show that, hey, what she is reporting is what happened. You're leaving it open that, hey, if you can show me some evidence to say that that's not what happened on the phone, or, for example, like I said, here's what the defense would say. Okay, well, I want to know how you guys feel about, yep, there's a call on the phone from 7:17 to 7:26 on both of those cell phones, but we don't know who's on each of those cell phones.
Exactly.
Like, we don't know who's behind the one cell phone, meaning Jennifer's, and we don't know who's behind Brian Drake's cell phone. If we go off of what Jennifer Drake said, though, she said that Brian Drake called her after his last patient left. Well, what if I showed you evidence that the last patients hadn't left yet, and that phone call made that call? Then is it now plausible that somebody else other than Brian, who was there, could have made that phone call? And what if I told you that Brian's phone did not have a password on it, so anybody could get into it?
Thank you.
That all helps with that, right?
Like, you rest my case on that point.
So
I'm going to go now.
Yes, chick bait. Yes. Chick bait. You're on for the jury, man. Chick bait. Unless you can't be there. Lover. Fucking brain. So I'm just trying to, gauge our lovely, because this Monday kicks off. I mean, I'm working over here on my Jen Drake opening statements, because I'm going to bring it. I'm going to bring it hard on how I would represent Jen if I was her attorney, the same way as I would rep it the other way. Now, remember, my client believes that this man is the one that's responsible for my husband's death, because of him confessing, and then because of the investigation by the officers prior to ever getting that confession. I mean, they had search warrants, and they went and talked to him multiple times. And so they have evidence that led up to, getting him into that interrogation room and talking to him then that day. So Jen's going off of, this is what the officers are telling me, that this man's responsible for my husband's murder, and he confessed to it. So now my question is, so then when the defense is going to ask here, are you going to hold it against my client if we understand that Brian Drake is no longer here, and that means that Jennifer is without her husband, without her companion, their children are without their dad, but are you going to hold it against my client if I show a different light of Jennifer Drake than a grieving widow? Are you going to hold that against my client? That if I have to go into areas about this case that would actually show that Jennifer Drake had more motive than anybody else. When I say I'm going to show you this, I'm going to show you through evidence. I'm going to show you through that in order to believe Jennifer Drake's story about what happened on that 717 phone call, you'd have to believe that Jennifer Drake is an honest person. So if I show you proof that Jennifer Drake has a tendency to not be able to tell the truth and gets caught repeatedly in lies during her interviews with law enforcement, if I'm able to show you that, what's the weight going to be that you're then going to apply to what she said about that 7:17 p.m. phone call? Diane said, now that makes it questionable. Sweet and Salty says, nope, I understand that you probably got to go there. A lot of weight. So if I show you that law enforcement showed Jennifer Drake 3 different guns at the time in 2020 that were in her possession, but she told law enforcement that she had never seen those guns before. And they were all guns that were the same caliber that her husband was shot with. What do you think about that? What if I show you that Jennifer Drake told law enforcement that she had no issues in her marriage? There was no, nobody cheated, nothing like that. And come to find out, we're going to provide you guys emails and where Jennifer and Brian Drake had separated for 30 days due to Brian Drake being caught cheating. And there's emails that prove it. You think that that's relevant? What I'm trying to gauge what you as jurors need to see in order not to believe what Jennifer Drake says was the contents of that 7:17 p.m. phone call. How do we even know that Brian Drake was on that other opposite end of that phone call? Well, would it help if I showed you, which we will, show you surveillance cameras that show that Brian Drake's last patients, their vehicle is seen leaving Brian Drake's building. But prior to them leaving, they say that a white truck is parked right up against Dr. Drake's building with its running lights on. It's a big white truck. You're going to hear it from a recording and then confirmed by law enforcement, only to find out that when you actually run the tape, the surveillance tape, that the white truck comes after the vehicle that the last patients were in so that they left in. Does that prove to you that the patients, the only way that they could have seen that white truck is if they would have still been there? And that they couldn't have possibly been in the vehicle that leaves before the white truck comes? Because how else could they tell you about the white truck? They would have still had to be there, right? So are you able to connect those type of dots? Or would you need to see more? Would you need to see what vehicle that they would have then used to leave in? Was white truck the ice cream man? No, unfortunately, I wish. Yeah, Diane says they would have had to have been there. Yes, because how else are you talking about a white truck that makes these movements? That makes sense. Patients saw the white truck. Patients were still in the building as long as info wasn't on the news. Yeah, the info was never on the news. The info from the patients was given to law enforcement before they ever even got the surveillance cameras. And this is all coming from surveillance cameras. So what now I'm able to do and prove to the jury is that not only Brian Drake is present still in that office, but at the 7:17 p.m. phone call, because that white truck doesn't come until after a minute or two of the pilot leaving, is now I'm able to put Eldora and Caleb and Azara still in the building. When Jennifer Drake says the reason that Brian Drake called me was because his patients left. So now that becomes very, very questionable because the patients hadn't left. So now does it become questionable that Jennifer Drake is even on the phone with Brian Drake? Are you able to, based off of this evidence, get to the conclusion of, wow, okay, yeah. Why would Eldora Gatchel and Caleb and Azara say that they left if they didn't? Well, their car had left. Yeah, but they wouldn't have been able to see the white truck. Okay. So then who took the car? Who's driving the pilot? Well, glad that you asked. What if I'm able to show you camera footage that we have that shows that the Eldora Gatchel household had a different vehicle from the witness statements of the patient before Eldora? Paul Jacobson said that when he was leaving at 6:15, Eldora and Caleb were in the waiting room playing a ukulele. And as he's leaving, walking out to his truck, he sees an SUV pull in, and there's a female driver that looks like it could be the daughter of the Hawaiian woman that's inside, because the driver of the vehicle is a younger Hawaiian woman. And then we show you the surveillance cameras that show Paul Jacobson leaving in his big old truck up out of Drake's at 6:17 p.m. But right before that, at 6:16 p.m., sure as clear as day, as Paul Jacobson said, here is an SUV that's turning into Drake's and coming back there at 6:16 p.m. right before Paul Jacobson is getting and leaving, corroborating his statements that an SUV came back there, and now he's saying it's a. So now we're putting two vehicles, the pilot and this Ford Explorer, green, turquoise, two vehicles back there that belong to the family. So now Caleb and Azara and Eldora, if they didn't leave in the pilot, the person that was driving the Ford Explorer, is it possible that that's who would have taken the pilot out of there, and then Eldora Gatchel and her brother leave in the Ford Explorer? Is that probable on how you're able to explain how that pilot left without Eldora or Caleb driving it? Yeah. And now I can ask you guys, are you able to not hold it against my client, Dan Moore, and ask yourselves why the police didn't go and get the Super One cameras, because that's where Eldora Gatchel said that she went after leaving the doctor's office, which was just a mile down the road. If they would have went and got those cameras, we could have then seen what SUVs were pulling in there and who was getting out of what vehicle. Now, how much weight do you put on eyewitness statements? Before Jennifer Drake's 911 call came in, a 911 call from an Isaac Funderburg came in before hers, but I thought she called right away. The plaintiff is going to say she had to get patched through to 3 different places, and that's why Isaac's call beat Jennifer's call. You're going to see the ballistics. You're going to see that no gun that the Moores own match the ballistics. You're going to see that there was no DNA taken. They don't even know if you're going to hear from the coroner. I'm sorry, the medical examiner, and she's going to talk about Drake's nails having dirt underneath them, Drake's sweater having debris on the back, vegetation, soil. That's going to be inconsistent with the carpet and clean office that Drake provided care for his patients. But outside of Drake's building was a shed that had a door disheveled hanging off of it by a hinge, as well as leaves and vegetation and soil right there. So would you question then if Brian Drake was truly killed in his office? Auntie Bevs says, if Jen Drake's testimony is anything like her vapor caper video, jury going to ask if they can criminally charge her, even though it's a civil case. All right. So remember, guys, this is a civil case, but so Jen's attorneys are relying on the witness statements of 2 police officers, a gas expert that I don't even know if you call him a gas expert, but he just works for Avista Gas. The fire chief, Sally Aiken, the medical examiner, and Jen Drake. Most of us know the case. They slammed him up against the shed and took it inside to talk something over and was then killed. Possibly. By the way, the gas expert he was called there for that gas leak, and we're going to be able to provide that he never interviewed Dr. Moore. He was never asked to. This happened 3 or 4 days after the murder, and he is going to be testifying to the fact that there was no tools down by the furnace where Dr. Moore said he went that morning to change the furnace filter. There was no tools, no like dust being moved to like use your hand to loosen. So he's gonna, and it's his words that say that nobody tries to commit suicide this way. Spicy chicken nuggets. I love that name. Thank you. Wait, Lana. Are your thoughts he wasn't in his office? No, my thoughts is he was not in his office initially. No. Based on the evidence. Based on the evidence. The defense is going to be able to show that through cross-examination that when they processed the scene, they didn't take the stool that they said that Dr. Drake was sitting on when he was shot up against the back. of the wall where the window was. They didn't take the stool. They didn't take any of the water bottles that they claim had vodka in them to test them. They found a third cell phone, never was processed, never was given to the defense. Then a fourth phone comes into play. They dusted for prints on the doors to get into Drake's building 5 days after the murder. They didn't DNA test anything. They didn't take the chiropractic pop-up table that he worked on his patients with. There was a blonde hair located on it. They didn't take the window into evidence. They yanked the blinds all the way up, closing the blinds instead of keeping the blinds as is and just changing then, how the blinds were. And they removed in their pictures a cardboard blue white foam box that was up against, and they removed that to do the crude rod pictures that they used for Coeur d'Alene to show that it was a downward angle. The only problem is that they moved the foam box, and the defense is going to show that they had to move that box in order to get this downward angle that they were claiming. Otherwise, it would have hit the box. Okay. The other thing is that they did not measure from the bottom of the window to the bullet entry, and they did not measure from the top of the stool to the bullet. They did not do any measurements of Dr. Moore and how tall he was and where somebody would need to be standing to shoot through that window. And if it's at all even possible to do what they're claiming where the entry wound was. And what the defense is going to be able to show as well is that we are going to show that there was no glass transfer into the back of Dr. Drake's sweater. No glass particles was seen in the autopsy results on the sweater. We are going to be able to also show that the bullet penetrating into Dr. Drake was actually at an upward angle, which is a complete contradiction to what the police said happened, which totally brings into goes back to this whole confession, which is we have an expert who is going to testify to what false confessions are. And one of the big things that happen in false confessions is that the evidence the confession doesn't match the evidence. And we don't even believe that it's plausible that Dr. Drake could have been sitting on any stool in front of any window and been shot at an upward angle due to physics, science. And finally, we are going to show through a timeline that the plaintiff will be providing that the police omitted material facts of vehicles that were coming and going from Dr. Drake's office that would hinder what is being alleged. That being that Eldora Gatchel and Caleb Cohen-Azara couldn't have left in a pilot at 7:16 p.m. and then saw the movements of a white truck at 7:18 and 52 seconds. We're going to show that all from the same camera, the same surveillance camera, so that there's going to be no question if, was that camera just a couple minutes behind that camera? No, we're going to show everything from the same surveillance camera so that our timeline is going off of the same one camera. So it doesn't matter what time anybody wants to say that this is. It goes consecutively down, and the jury will watch from 7 13 and 52 seconds until 7:22, the same camera. And we are confident that the jury is going to see that we have a huge burden to overcome by Dan Moore saying, okay, fine. Yeah, I shot through the window. I did. Yeah, sure. After they fed him what to say. And even what they told him to say doesn't match the scene. But that big burden we'll be able to overcome it with actual evidence, not false confessions. So what do you guys think? Thoughts? I don't know shit about this case, though. Good, you make a great juror. I want to come back up as prosecutor. Just remember, I need the link again unless you reject the ID. Well, this isn't a prosecution case, so it's plaintiff. So remember, it's gonna kind of treat like a criminal case in a way, because you're talking about it's a wrongful death. You are hired. Chick bait. There's your link. So just thoughts. Sherry D, yeah. Housing being a hell, something like that. The ankle is wrong. Window was shot, but not plausible. He was shot on his stool. The window was definitely shot out, guys. The window was definitely shot out. It's a staged crime scene. They're going to have to account for why Brian Drake has 2 contusions as well, which we haven't even gotten to. They're going to have to explain why they didn't go back and talk to the medical examiner when they saw that their little, oh, wow, wait. Wow. Oh, wait, wow. Why does his back all have shit all over it? Like he was rolling around the mud. Also, we're going to talk about the fact that Brian Drake's leg was bashed in a month before his murder. So much so that he had to have surgery, broken in 3 different places. And we're really going to question if a slip and fall, if that's possible, because this is something that has to have, this is a like a corkscrew type of a movement, and then somebody bashing it with so much force. This isn't a slip and fall. So what are the odds? Is Moore countersuing Jen? Great question. Yes, there is a countersuit involved. Gypsy says, find who Brian was banging and check the jealous hubby out. Maybe he caught him in a... Please hit the woo woo, like it. I think in this case, we're also going to show that Jennifer Drake was trying to break into her husband's phone 48 hours before the murder, and his hidden eye app caught it. We're also going to show that Brian Drake was on Life 360 with his family. They had this app, and that Brian would always disable his location services. So we're going to show that it was not Dan Moore that was trying to keep tabs on where and what and who Brian, where he was going, but that it was Jen. And there's just no motive here. But they say that Brian was taking Dan's patience, and Dan was like, oh my God, I'm losing patience, and I just have to go shoot a bullet through a window. Oh, where'd Chickbait go? Are they going to have the sock in evidence? Well, we're going to wonder where it went, but I don't know if they have the sock. That's the other thing, is I think that's a little bit of humiliation. I believe that sock was put there after the fact. I want that sock tested for DNA. I want to know whose DNA is on that sock. But that's like a humiliation type thing. I think that was put in Brian's pants after the fact. I do. I think it was a way to humiliate him. Never heard of it, but now I want to see it. Hey, girl, what's up? What you think, girl?
Well, I might have changed my mind.
About what? What do you want to change your mind about?
I don't know. Like, now I think that maybe I'm less pro LE and I'm more pro like Drake, like J Drake. I call her J Drake. That's what she lets me call her, you know.
Okay.
Like
So like
J-
you're pro, like I don't know what you mean by that. Like,
well, what I meant by that was I didn't have a side to begin with. Right.
okay. So are you saying that like you believe that Jennifer Drake's telling the truth and Dan Moore's the killer and she should rake in the mills?
I don't believe either of this.
Okay.
But when I look at the evidence, I do believe, and you hit the nail on the head, that the angle, the window, the stool, all the general stuff, right? Doesn't add up. The rest of it, I have not like landed on an opinion.
Okay, good. That makes for a great juror.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. So when I'm doing the mock, and I'm going to present all the evidence on Hector. So
yeah,
you guys
no.
will see, like, I think it's going to be a good way to gauge, like, you know, just playing it all out. So anybody that doesn't know this case is kind of just like, here's what I expect to happen. Here's the evidence, and I'm actually going to go like harder to represent Jen in this because I really want to play devil's advocate with like everything that I've done. So I'm really going to go hard with like, hey, I put way more time into my opening statements for Miss Drake, okay, than I have with the Moores. We don't know how high the stool goes because they didn't take it into evidence. We have pictures
is
of
that bias that you spent more time?
Well, no, I'm trying to, you know, I really want to.
Or is there more information available on the other side?
No, when I'm saying like, I'm saying when I'm saying I've spent more time, it's because I want to give such a compelling, because I believe you're gonna have to pull at the heartstrings of these jurors, in my opinion, to say, you know, obviously we have a widow and the children, and, you know, you're going to come at the jurors that somebody like this man's responsible. He said he did it. I believe that he did it because he said that he did it. And then I'm believing law enforcement that told me that they had this, you know, great case against this man, and that they worked on this case for 6 months and eliminated people before they got to this person. And, you know, so I really want to go with,
yeah, I mean,
but it's so flawed. But yeah, no, and then the jury's going to find out that she got $1 million within 3 weeks.
If it was a perfect world, that scenario would totally add up. Okay, right?
Yeah, I just believe that you can't.
You know, like the game Plinko. You know, you put down your idea and see where it lands. Right? In a perfect world, that scenario plays off. This is not a perfect case, unfortunately, and that's why it's so riveting. You know, I don't believe anything the law enforcement is saying, but I do believe on a, like, I guess, circumstantial level, that the evidence isn't piling up with what Ellie is saying. On that front, I can't say which
but let me ask you this though. So I'm going to defend Ellie a little bit in this standpoint alone. Okay. Is that Jennifer Drake told 911 that her husband was shot through a window. Okay. Right. And so Ellie just kind of like went with that. But then you have to ask yourself, when does it come to the point of like, okay, when the autopsy's done and Sally Aiken comes back and, you know, yep, it was a gunshot wound that killed the man. Okay. He bled out internally. There was hardly any blood out on the floor. That was the other thing. That's interesting. Yeah. But the wound, the penetrating wound, is no way possible to have happened the way that, and they're like, he must have been leaning over like this when he was writing at that stool that's on the side of his desk, not even at his desk. And because of the way that he was leaning, that, I'm like, that still doesn't create you're never gonna get an upward angle.
Yeah, but I mean, without the forensics in front of me and going by what I've read and what I've heard, okay, you're exactly right about that. But the other thing is, there must have been no other patients around during this time, or nobody coming forward as a witness to seeing anything, right?
Yeah, no, there were.
However,
there's an eyewitness. They heard the gunshot. Then they saw
I
a
know.
dark-skinned man running away from the crime scene.
From the area, but
No,
they didn't
no. He was coming up from the building, on the side of the building.
Okay.
And he was all black, like in all black, and a silver vest and a beanie hat and facial hair. He is literally to a T the description of Caleb Coco and Azara.
But that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when the actual point in time of bullet and person met each other, we don't have concrete evidence as to window, person, stool, desk. We have like things going around that area, but not anybody eyewitness in the room, right?
No, you just have somebody hearing the gunshot from, and then like they're across the street, hearing the gunshot, and then they see somebody coming out from that building and looking
and
like
we're talking like relatively 100 feet,
no, like
feet?
30 feet.
Really close.
I mean, yeah, like, I mean, this eyewitness literally, like when the jury sees, when the jury hears a description of what this man describes and then sees what Caleb Coco and Azara was wearing, I mean, I think it's really compelling.
Me too.
That's exactly who he saw. And now it makes sense as to when he would have saw him. No,
I mean, all of that, the distance to the area, like the circumference, the area, regular geometry, right?
Yeah, it was right across the street. He was right. He was standing right there.
And I don't mean like
coming from the building,
thousands of yards away or whatever, right?
Yeah, no, this is all super close. I think what's actually crazy is that Jen, when she calls, she gives the address of 6811, and
without hesitation.
Well, because he was at his office, so she says my husband was, shot. He's at his office, or that's what he says. What's crazy is that law enforcement doesn't get to his body, and is choosing to drive all over everywhere else except for going into the building 6811 and going right there into the suite B. So they're going to have a lot of explaining to do with that. I don't think I think a jury should question.
And that's where I'm hung up on the law enforcement reaction to how they responded and etc. Just like you said, with like my brain goes, the most direct way to get from A to B should be the most direct way. But I could be confused with that.
When the jury gets to see that the reason that Caleb Coco and Azara would be coming up from behind the building out into the main road to then go back by the glass shop, it makes sense now why he would ever take that path. Because I always said, why would he ever? Well, it's because he was going to where the second vehicle was. The pilot had already left.
Yeah. And
so he didn't have a car back there and where the other vehicle was. Now it makes sense, because before, I think a jury's going to have, I know for me, like, why would anybody leave the behind the building where it's all dark and you're not going to be on any cameras? Why would you ever come out?
Did he ever go inside the building?
Caleb Coco and Azara he was there.
So my question
he was a patient. He was getting work done on him. Him and his sister were getting work.
What I'm trying to say is, if you're asking
there's questions, do you know that there's a video of them recording the doctor?
Yeah, but I'm trying to go back to like a blank slate. So you can have two identical guns: window gun, inside gun.
What this jury is just for civil, and so it's about like.
No, I get that.
Technical stuff isn't going to be what this is about. This is going to be about, did anybody else was there and could have killed this man besides Dr. Moore, who they're placing there with this white truck, they're saying. And so it's going to come down to a jury saying, is it probably more likely than not that Dr. Moore killed him? And when you throw a timeline of events in no, there was actually somebody else, actually two people that were there.
Thank you.
You know what I'm trying to say? Like, so we're putting
I know it's a civil trial. So after putting that all aside, then if we have enough plausible cause or whatever, right?
Yeah, the preponderance of the evidence.
Yeah, the preponderance of the evidence. We can't actually say that that guy did it. We see the other guy, and it's a clear-cut case. In my opinion, we can't even rule on the civil trial. If that throws me off the jury, I'm sorry.
No, you'd still be on the jury. Yeah, I think exactly what you're saying. Like normal case scenario here is that there should be a criminal trial, and then the civil trial should happen second.
Yeah, like OJ.
Yeah. So, and then in this case, that's why I think it's hilarious that it's not working that way. So you're going to have to explain to a jury and throw out some evidence here, right? And that's why Jennifer Drake. I mean,
it does kind of cause a rift in anyone's mind watching this play out in the wrong order.
Well, like now think about you being Dr. Moore and being forced to testify, where this case, anything that he says can and will be used against him. Whatever he says in a criminal proceeding, should they go and charge him.
And that's why I take everything I've heard very gently, if that's the right word, because I don't think he wants to be put in the position to have this play out again in a different way.
Who?
Does that make sense? The guy's name that you just said, but I can't pronounce things very well. So I've been very open about my mispronunciation of names.
Oh, Dr. Moore. Yeah, so this was okay. So when this happened, you guys, this was originally stayed, just like the Karen Moore case.
Be right back. Hold on.
The civil case was stayed. There was a criminal pending case. Then it got thrown out because they violated his Miranda, and they said it was a coerced confession. And so they said to the law enforcement folks, hey, you can't use the confession. It's out. And so unless you have anything else other than what do you have? Is this your probable cause? This is what you have besides the confession. It's not good enough. It didn't meet even that little tiny threshold to just make it as probable cause. And that was with all of the 18 bullet points minus the confession of what they put together and had as far as an Excel spreadsheet and what they claim as evidence. There's nothing against Dr. Moore. That's why they haven't gone forward. And so what I think is going to be interesting is that, so what happened was a couple years have passed, and then Jennifer Drake wanted the civil case to go forward and the stay to be lifted because there was no movement on the criminal case. Well, it was dismissed though without prejudice, meaning that at any point in time they could refile on Dr. Moore. It's not like it'd be double jeopardy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But so unfortunately, Dr. Moore's lawyer did a no objection to the stay being lifted, and then moving forward with this civil case. I think that's a big, whatever.
Yeah, no, it wasn't Dr. Moore's name I couldn't pronounce. It's the other guy's name.
Dr. Drake?
No, the black and silver guy.
He's just Caleb. He's not a doctor.
Caleb.
He's Caleb Kakoa Nazara.
Yeah.
Yeah, just call him Caleb.
Caleb, yeah. I'm Caleb.
Yeah.
My good friend from way back.
Yeah, me and Sea-Dog.
Yeah.
Sea-Dog's dead now.
I'm sorry. But anyway,
yeah, so it just sucks because how do you
I really feel like Dr. Moore is being set up, but in the most easiest of circumstances. Like when you were a kid, you played Clue.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He was definitely being
Dr.
set up.
Moore. Dr. Moore was there with the candlestick.
Yeah. Well, it's even worse when you actually one day I'll tell you how bad it is of a frame job. That town, there's certain people that were very, very jealous of that man.
Yeah, and I feel like there's a lot more to this.
And he wasn't like one of the dirty people in that town who have their power and have their money because of the shit that they did over the course of the years. He never got down with those people, and they were jealous of that he's able to be so successful, and he never had to get his hands dirty.
you couldn't break him. Basically.
Yeah, well, he I guess you could say he's just super vanilla. Like there's just
No, I know. I was trying to say it nicely.
For lack of better words, but yeah, he's not gonna that's not his type of lifestyle.
It's just it's like when you have a bunch of people in the movies and somebody else does the dirty work for you, but this isn't even the guy doing the dirty work. He's a total like patsy who has no idea. And I get all these conflicting messages like when I'm like looking up the case because of that.
Well, when everybody sees here during this mock trial and the real trial here, even the civil, when I say real,
your trial is much better than the real one.
Yeah. Well, then when this trial hits, though, it had January 25th. When everybody hears and sees with their own ears and in their eyes, and when it comes out that the gunshots that people heard that were the eyewitnesses and the timeline that they're putting the gunshots out, it's like at 7:05, y'all. Like it's gonna be lit as a tit. Like Brian Drake wasn't killed at no fucking 7:26. Hell motherfucking no. That man was taken out just after 6:43. So it was between like you guys are gonna see a car catch air peeling up out of there in the back end. I mean, it is gonna be wild what these jurors see. You're going to see it here.
A really bad 1980s R.L. Stein book or something where, you know, it went down, then you call your friends over later and they show up. I don't know. But I'm going to leave it at that because I'm tired.
You're awesome, though. You could still be on the jury.
Oh, gosh, thank you.
I'm just curious at how, like, I just want to know how it's like, we're all talking like normal shit here, but you're gonna sit there and you're gonna hear these jurors. They're gonna be like, "Well, he must have did it." I mean, who would ever say that they did it?
Before I go, I want to know his opinion on squids. You know, like you can get squids have ink, right? But you can't write with that squid ink, right? I don't know. I was in the car today, actually having this literal conversation. A seaport is by the sea, right? An airport is by the air. We're all by the air. Therefore, everything's an airport.
Yeah, I want to know how a jury is gonna, you know.
I'm gonna leave it at that because if I can't figure it out, I don't know if I should be on the jury.
Well, no, you could, and also you can come back with saying like, if we can't unanimously get 3/4 of the jury to find for one where it's a hung jury to anything out.
I know it's not a criminal case anymore, but the biggest flaw to me,
but it could end with nobody getting anything. Like it could end
with
everything you don't win.
They touched the blinds. What did they use, a pencil or something? I don't know.
Fuck yeah, it's great. He says the rod. It's a rod. You're supposed to put it on a tripod. I mean, just
classic police work right there.
If these fuckers did any of this type of shit in the Idaho 4 case, like, which I believe that it was done like this.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what made me find this case.
That's police work.
Yeah, this is what made me find that case was the Idaho 4 case. I'm just like, who are these schmucks?
And that got your curiosity.
It's bad. So how much weight?
What did I
think that the jurors can be easily shown completely away from that once they see the footage. Once they see the footage, and it's just like, wait a second.
It's not going to add up.
We got people lying. Why would the final patients of the last, lie about what time they left and what they saw? Think about that. Think about that, because they were trying to frame.
That's what I was trying to say.
That's the whole thing here. Is they were trying to frame somebody.
They'd have to be so coordinated and all in.
I think where that coordination is going to come into is when you find out why Brian Drake was killed. The answering the why he was killed is everything in the coordination. You get what I'm trying to say?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what, and there's going to be a couple bombshells that come out.
If we can't find any coordination, if it doesn't come out, that's what ruins the case, in my opinion. I'll get going now. Bye.
No, you're good. We love having you on. All right, girl, have a good one.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
You rock. Witnesses were likely intimidated by cops. No, they weren't. Well, not these ones that called the cops and told them to come on over to their house. Like, hey, we want to talk to somebody. They had a notepad out saying they rubbed down their shit. I mean, it's wild. It's wild. But I think the why and why Brian Drake was killed is where the coordination comes into. It's so based off of like, I think what's really good for jurors is, hey, I don't really know anything about this case. I'm interested. I want to hear about it. So I feel like the best way for me to introduce this case would just be, hey, I'm going to have a week-long mock trial. Just like if I was to cover a case that would be streaming, I'm going to do it myself. And Jennifer Drake's going to call like 5 or 6 witnesses to present her case. Those witnesses will be cross-examined. And then Dr. Moore would then be able to present his case in terms of calling witnesses, I guess you could say, to rebut that bullshit. Thanks, James. Thanks. So thank you. But I've gotten a lot of your guys' emails. So if you guys want in, I just want 12 people. All you got to do is, yes. Hi, I hope this is the correct email. Yes. I am in need of volunteers. Yes. So Mary will be in charge of you guys. So Chickbait's in. Sherry, are you a juror? Or are you just a watcher? Who else is a juror? Are we gonna have bingo cards? Man, that's just too hard. I can't do it all, but I'll give you some bingo. I feel like I could rig bingo based off of what I would say. I like to participate. Sherry D's in. She's on the jury. Sherry D. Who else is a juror? But you guys be fair out there. We're going to be putting you guys up on panel when it's time for jury discussions. Crystal C. Okay, you're in. Colleen wanted to be in. Is Colleen still in? Wait, what? You are on the jury. No, you can't? Girl, you know you ain't got nothing to do. Heather, are you on the jury? I know Annie Potts would love to be on this jury, but she's like, I fuck shit, no way. Jennifer Drake guilty. All right, I got some people that did it through the email. So I don't know if you guys can comment in here, is Sorkling Starfish in here? They wanted to be a juror. I'm going to make appreciation certificate, says Murky. Thank you so much. I think everybody gets a trophy. We got Programmer. Programmer, are you in? Programmer's always a good one. Programmer. What about a JC Music? I mean, come on. He loves the Drake shit. How about Michelle? Thomas, I know you want to be. I'm on call next week. Do I have to be free? You on call? Girl, you can be one of the alternates. Freckle Gemini, I know you want to be in. I just see people because you're gonna have to watch it. So when you're doing the debating, I shouldn't say debating, but when you're doing the deliberating, I'm putting you guys up on the screen. You don't have to show your faces or anything, but your avatars need to be up there so you guys can be discussing. Because we want to see how jurors would handle this shit. Is Diane going to be a juror? Can I be? Yes. You know what? Absolutely. You could be do the transcripts, girl. Mary P said she'd be the foreman. With chick bait unless she breaks a leg. How many more jurors do you need, Lana? Eat a bag of dicks is in. You know that's right. With a name like that. I love how all these people are watching and no one's committing themselves to being a juror. Fuck being a juror. Where are my pro Jennifer Drake people? Come on. With this lineup, Chickbait, Mary P, Sherry D, Crystal C, Programmer, Freckle, Gemini, Eat a Bag of Dicks. I mean, do you think that Jennifer Drake has a chance? Stenographer, yeah. I will be on the jury. Thank you, Eat a Bag of Dicks. Great. It's Eat a Bag of D's, guys. Murky, you may gotta take one. I will do it. Just got out of ICU after being there for 10 days. Oh, God. Sounds like Brian Drake. You flatlined twice. Jesus. I can do courtroom sketches. I'm an artist. Sketch away, baby. There, sketch away. Satan will be coming up out of the floorboards. Oh, God, guys. All right, you guys have to do a check-in. Anybody else? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I will be assigning these numbers to people, and then we'll be pulling out of a hat to see. We're going to treat it like Boston, where you guys will all be present, and then at the end, we will pull out of a hat to see. Murky, I'm putting you in. Murky's like, damn it. I'm hoping that Andrea picks up the case, the mock trial, and does a recap of it at 7 p.m. nightly. Chris Harder, it starts on Monday. You in? Lana, your tone changed. I feel like I threatened a juror. That's right, you did. I'll be the #1 fan of Jennifer. Perfect. So I'm hoping that Andrea picks up the mock trial and covers it at 7 p.m. Monday, beginning Monday, and she breaks it down what she thinks. You guys like that? I'm treating the jury. I'm going to be objecting to myself up here. Objection. That does not even make any sense. I don't have a camera. I'm on a desktop. You don't need a camera. You don't need to come on camera. You just need to be able to have an avatar. So if you guys want to email Lawyer Lee or Andrea and ask if they want to cover at 7 p.m. nightly, what they think of the trial, they can weigh in. What time? It is Monday through this Friday at 10 a.m. Monday and Tuesday will be going until 3:30. We will have a 45-minute lunch break. Okay, can you handle that? Okay. You guys, come on now. Hell's bells. Nobody gives a shit about this case, I see. 99 motherfucking people are only in here. They're like, Dr. Moore's got this. Yeah, right, guys. Fucking jurors. No common sense. We'll be having sidebars with myself. Hang on, guys. Sidebar with myself. Wait, lunch is not provided? Speaking of lunch, I mean, I guess I could do DoorDash. I'll DoorDash the jurors. 'Cause I don't have a car. 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 Oh my God. Why did I show up? Let's see what's on the DoorDash. I think I want a pizza. Sweet and salty, are you on the jury? Who is on the jury? I want to know who I need to stalk. So did you guys put up your Christmas lights and all that crazy crap? Please send me your Christmas tree or your outside decorations. I have my first winner that I've decided on for my Christmas tree. If you think you got some slamming decorations. I told you guys my motto this year was just the tip. I'm going to prove it to you guys. I'm going to show you. Or actually, it's like Rudolph Christmas, but whatever. Just the tip sounds perfect. Okay. Oh, yeah. All decorations went up weeks ago. Oh my God, you guys just totally screwed over Thanksgiving. Let me show you guys. So, a couple of my faves, but to show that I just did, I followed suit, guys. Just the tip. Hold on. Okay. Let me share. I'm late. Did your jurors get picked? Absolutely not. Our jurors. You can be on. James, are you on? Thank God, James. Where's Johnny Lunchbucket? We need some guys. We cannot have a jury of all females. Okay, we need some bag of dicks. Sorry. I'm only repeating your guys' names over here. Okay. So this is Christmas. I don't think it gives it justice, but whatever. Okay, so I wanted to have like a just the tip Christmas theme. So there you go. Just the tip. There you go. It's official. Just the tip. I tried to get a decent picture in there for you. That's all that matters. Just the tip. It's a Rudolph. You guys, it's a Rudolph. Don't be sick. Now, for my winner this week, I'll show you guys. Oh, if I say I'm going to bring it, I bring it. So, Jax thinks I told you that we're having a Rudolph Christmas. It's just the tip. In honor of Brian. Oh, wait, here we go. Here's my winner. My winner this week, anybody that submitted their, family picks, this is the one I picked. Oh, wait, hold on. went a little crazy with the outdoor decorations. Every tree is red. Okay, and this week's winner. Claim yo prize. Christmas tree. Oh, Christmas tree. There you go. Don't know whose it is. I think it's super cute. It's just perfect. Look at that star. I put an angel on top. Just gorgeous. There you go. Winner. So if that's your tree, I will be putting it in the Q&A section as well. You are our True the Transparency holiday first week. You guys ready for Secret Santa? Or not Secret Santa. We should do a Secret Santa with 108 people. Elf on a Shelf, I mean. You guys gonna have your elves doing anything crazy? Oh, you're Pacific time? Oh, God bless America. Chris Harder. 10 a.m. Eastern is what time? It's 10 a.m. Eastern. You guys doing Elf on a Shelf? That looks pretty. The entire picture, the corner. What are you trying to say? My Rudolph tree? Oh, hate the elf, that damn thing. I knit, crochet, paint and draw. Decor snob. Well, this year, Baker the elf brought his toy shop with him. So Baker made a toy shop. So we can only imagine what Baker's going to be doing up out of that piece. Did you add James to the jury? Well, by God, can we add Chris Harder so we can have two dudes at least? Or pretend two dudes? Maybe they're both dudes. Who knows? Maybe some of these female names are dudes. Who knows? I have Chickbait, Mary P, Sherry D, Crystal C, Programmer, Freckled Gemini. I have Eat a Bag of D's. I have Little Miss Sunshine. She better show. Don't be flat not lying on me, girl. Or boy. I have Murky. Now I have James. I'm going to add Chris. Chris might be snoozing through the morning sessions. Colleen's on it, right? Good jury selection. Colleen, you're on it, right? Sherry D, you didn't see? I told you it's just the tip Christmas. V Slims. Just the tip and balls deep. 2 glass jars and friends. What is this? Sherry D joining us. Oh, Colleen. God, I'm going to have to label these shows R. Anybody else? Auntie Bev, you need to be on the jury. Okay, 1, 2. If you didn't get called and you want to be on it, email me. We need backups because I think you guys are going to be going down like I don't even know what. Baker, that bastard. I'm going to put his ass outside, see if he freezes. Give him a little damp. Oh, you need to see after the Buckeyes lost today, I had to get off some of my steam. So I went outside and literally turned every tree in my whole entire yard red. And I made it like the zoo lights here. I just throw in lights everywhere. Probably went through, I don't even know, I would say probably 4,000 lights. Let's see. See if I got a pic of that crap. Every car is driving by saying, telling me, welcome to the neighborhood. Like, I haven't lived here for 3 years. Oh, no, this looks beautiful. Lights. Welcome to the neighborhood. I'm like, what? I do this every year. Where the fuck have you been? welcome to the neighborhood. Oh shit. Then I thought one of my neighbors was a complete stalker. Hey, were you up at BW3s earlier? And I'm like, yeah. What? Oh, I thought I saw you up there. I'm like, weird. I should have said no. I was like, sure. Buckeyes. Fuck Bucks. Ryan Day's got to go. Let's see. Like when I say like I went all out. Oh my God. Any takers? Are you giving up your jury spot? How damn dare you? How damn dare you? I mean, just try it. If you can't stick around, you can just say, oh, grandma, 10, you can be back here at 10. I'll be a backup. Fear of commitment. I know, right? Those long distance relationships always get me. I love lights. You can never have too many. Oh, shit. Let's see. I think I got some pics. I mean, guys, it was freezing out there today. Here you go. Without doxing myself. So you guys don't believe me. Look at that. I went out there. I literally made it like, I'm telling you, like the zoo lights. I was like, fucking Buckeyes. There you go. Everything's red. I told you it's zoo lights over here. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for popping in here. Monday kicks off the trial. So if you guys are bored and you want to know about what's going on in the Drake Dan Moore case and what you guys can expect to see in January. So yeah. Popping and not stopping. Thank you to all of our jurors who have volunteered their lovely time to listen to and be fair and impartial. All jurors, please refrain from researching on your own, to letting your family know that you are on the jury until afterwards. You know how family members can be. And please do not discuss with the fellow jurors any of your feelings on the evidence. You guys will be doing that together in the deliberating room. Thanks, Your Magistrate. Oh, well, it's Judge, so I'm going to need you to say Your Honor. I can't be fair. I hate her. Dude, Jen's not going to be able to find an impartial jury to save her life. If anybody wants to donate their DNA, let us know if you want to find a family member. The mock trial is being sponsored in part by IGG, where spitting is accepted. I'm sorry. I need to go to bed. Hell no, we won't go. So IGG. I need more details about Monday. Monday, jurors, please be here and present at 10 a.m. for opening statements. You will be hearing from, well, first of all, I have to swear you all in. So I will be swearing in the jury at 10 a.m. Then we'll be hearing opening statements. Plaintiff Jennifer Drake will go first, followed by Dr. Moore second. Then Jennifer Drake will be calling her first witness to the stand. Yes, except on only on Monday and Tuesdays go till 3:30. We will just be in court from 10 to 4, or I'm sorry, from 10 to 2. 10 to 2 is a Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Okay. And then Murky will be having participation trophies. So be ready to be sworn in, jurors, on Monday morning. We will be standing for the Pledge of Allegiance every day. Just kidding. Make sure you pack your Lunchables. This court does not provide lunch. The jury is not being sequestered, so feel free to have one-night stands. Also, your phones will not be monitored, so feel free to call whoever. But we do ask that you do not use your devices to research this case. Thanks, Auntie Bev. Thank you. Are the jurors required to be dressed as well? You guys can come as is. We prefer no birthday suits. So, and you will not be required to be on camera. We will need you to check in every morning by commenting in the thread. Mary P will be doing roll call. Anything else? Any other questions, jurors? Now, remember, you guys will be able to ask questions. So if you have any questions for any of the witnesses, be sure that you let your foreman know that you have a question. And if that question is admitted, we will ask it, and then the witness will answer the question. High fives and hugs is what we pay. Okay. Do I have to sign a waiver? No. This is just your civic duty, guys. You can share your strong biased opinions amongst yourselves. Yes. And when it's all said and done, you are welcome to do any interviews that you would like, write a book. That's going to be all up to you. If at any point in time you feel threatened by the likes of Truth and Transparency, please let the court know. We know that she is a fucking nag and she can be crazy. And so if you are threatened at all by Truth and Transparency at any point in time, please make the court aware. And we will put her in a wheelchair and restrain her. Okay? Thank you. Anything else? Do we go to jail if we do not attend? We will not be putting bench warrants out for you guys. We are not. If you don't want to be here and take it serious, we're not going to make you be here. But we will remember that when we're passing out parking tickets and we see your car, oh, you better believe. Can we play rock, paper, scissors on difficult items, Anna? You are allowed to find in favor of neither of these parties. If you think that these parties have wasted the precious time of the courts, and neither one of these parties should be given a damn thing, then I hope that collectively, or at least 3/4 of you guys, make that known. Anything else? Mary P. Roll call starts at, yeah, we can start roll call at 9:55. Can we share our proceeding with Turtle Boy? Absolutely. Absolutely. He has been cleared. He has no restraints. But truth and transparency will be in a wheelchair and restrained. Nope, we passed out fake summons, so you guys are all good to go. We will start with a yoga warm-up. Sure, sounds good. We'll be moving our mouths. Yeah, we can do that. And our ears. Okay, great. We will be drug testing you guys, so no, please refrain from the meth. Oh, wait, bailiff just informed me, no drug testing, so have at it, Bonner County. Have at it. Anything else? Oh, please remember that it is limited parking, so if you want to carpool with a family member that's going to be in the courthouse, or if you want to take the bus, anything else? Remember, limited parking spaces. There is really limited places to eat around here, and you might want to take off your juror badge if you are going to go into a public place during lunch. The paparazzi is going to be hot on people's tails. As long as you can pass a breathalyzer after lunch, feel free to have a couple cocktails. Anything else? If Brian could drink while he was working, you guys can drink while you guys are working. I'm fine with that. And remember, guys, Lady Justice wears a blindfold for a reason. Anything else? All right, well, this should be a great trial. There is only one bathroom. Yes, men and women will be using the same bathroom. I know that's not going to go over well in Bonner County. So please just make sure that your pants are up before you leave the stall. Thank you. Anything else? Okay. Little Miss Sunshine is asking if she can have any gummies. Absolutely, we do not drug test here in Bonner County. Now, we have made it perfectly clear to Court TV and Law and Crime that they are not to zoom in on our jurors. If they happen to catch your, a piece of your clothing, just understand that it's not your face. But if you want to watch us on replay, it will be on Court TV and Law and Crime. So feel free to watch it after the trial on repeat, okay? And see how well you did. Court TV has a little bit of a problem zooming in on the witnesses. We've asked them to kind of back up the camera angle. Okay. And if you guys have any problems hearing, please just raise your hand and we will ask the witnesses to speak up, okay? All right. Anything else? Who is our bailiff? It's Judge Ito's brother. Mark Furman may be in town to catch the trial. He lives in Sandpoint. So we're expecting some celebrities to pop in from, time to time this week or next week. You guys know what I mean. And so if you happen to see Mark Furman, don't point to your hand and start giggling. Just keep it kind of professional, okay? He will do probably a photo op afterwards or something like that. Anything else? Anything? Well, I think I've answered all of your questions. Oh, if you happen to see a bunch of hotties in the audience, no rings on, no men next to them, they might be there for Brian Drake. Please do not bother them. Thank you. And okay. If you want to take pictures with either of the parties, you can ask them that after the trial, so that you can do that as well. I'm trying to think any last juror instructions. We will get those at the end before you go back into the deliberating room. Yes, Chris. Your instructions right now are just to show up and to put your thinking caps on and your, turn your ears on and just be really good listeners. We will not be giving any cotton candy out. No. OJ's ghost. Oh, God. Well, if you can catch a photo with him, you can do that as well. All right. Now, remember, we have yet to find the murder weapon in this case. So if you happen to be, out and about and you see some guns, feel free to snatch them up, bring them on in. We'll have show and tell before the jury instructions, okay? All right. Thank you guys so much. And my name, yes, it's Judge Jensen here. Jansen, like that, like Jan. All right, you guys, you have a great night, okay, jurors? I'm going to go ahead and release you. And remember, you guys are getting sworn in on Monday morning, okay? All right, bye-bye now. Jansen, like that. Yes, chick bait. Jansen. Yeah. Jansen. Yeah, there you go. Yes, perfect. And I am no bullshit. Judge Jensen. I got a front row seat. Furman will be in town. All right, guys. See you soon. Bye-bye now. Thanks, James. Thanks, Lana. Great live. Respect and appreciate. Yep. Back at you. See you guys Monday. Don't be late, jurors.